high anxiety today and and I'm not having my coffee. And here's me, but
She hasn't had
yeah,
coffee
just
yet either.
I'm like the Energizer bunny, and I'm like, this is me not on coffee, and I'm like, whoo, chill, stress.
Really nice
Anyway,
actually on the flip side of that to see you like this again because
mm,
you went through a bit of a low patch there for a bit after having COVID, didn't you? So it's
yeah.
nice Nikki's back.
I did. I actually genuinely did lose myself for a while. It was awful. COVID did a big, we were just chatting to you guys while you come on, but COVID did a massive number on me. Oh, geez. And that's only taken a few months. So just in the last couple of weeks, I really feel like, yeah, let's go. So I'm just
It's
like
so
bouncing.
good.
Yeah. So I am back from outer space. Oh, sort of thing. Been turning around now. This is me without coffee, honestly. Jesus Christ. All right, guys. So come and join us today for Women on a Mission. Me and Coach Ez, so Coach Nikki and Coach Ez. And we have decided today we're going to talk about, what happens when your partner doesn't support you? How does it affect your journey? And what you can really do about it, because it actually does affect, and this is for everyone. This is for you guys and for the women. It doesn't matter because partners are the same. So, but how are you today, Ez? Just while people are coming in, and drop in the comments, please, guys, if you're here.
I'm really good actually. It's obviously 10 to 9 at night
Yeah,
here. So I'm a little bit tired, but I'm fresh faced and ready for
you
bed after.
are.
So
That is
it's
something.
actually
You're
one of my
always
first
fresh
lives
face.
that I've done with no makeup. So there we go.
Wow. But
Um,
just as sort of like a sidetrack, everyone, have you found this that like since you've lost weight and eating healthier, being happier, that your skin, you're like glowing? Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely hydrating as well. I notice a massive difference in my skin and like just how it feels when I don't drink enough water.
Yes, hydration. That is a major one. So it's really good. You're looking, like I say, glowing. I would have been saying, what were
You.
you up to before we've come on live? But
No, no,
yeah.
no.
Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to actually find the live in the group so I can see who's here just before we go, just so we can say hi to you. Just
I can see
oh,
Basie's come on and Claire's come on. Hi, girls.
hi, guys. Obviously, it's my phone. I can't just see who's here because I want to actually see who's watching. So, hi, Stacey. Hi, Claire. And obviously, if this interests you this morning, get involved. Speak in the comments there. Just let us know either your story or if it's affecting you. Or, it's not just about the negative side because we're here to talk about when your partner doesn't support you, but has a different not view on this, but she's got different story to tell you because her partner is very supportive. So it
Yeah.
just shows you that it can happen.
And also, too, I think it's important to remember as well, like this isn't just towards partners as well, although that's like probably one of the most common um,
Mm-hmm.
things when it comes to a weight loss journey. But even if you don't have a partner, there's always going to be people in your life that are very close to you that may
Yeah.
not understand what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and why you're doing it. And I think, what we talk about might benefit,
Yeah.
people even outside of our partners.
Yeah, it is that. And it's like sometimes it really does throw you off your tracks if you're trying to lose weight and better yourself, and then but you get the self-doubt come in when people are start saying, oh, you're maybe taking it a bit too far now, or wow, you're going to the gym again. So I think just for an easier life, because I was just speaking to one of my ladies yesterday, I won't say who she was obviously for privacy, but this is what she's going through at the moment, bless her. So it's just for an easier life, she's kind of sabotage. She is actually, because I said to her, "It's like, look, you're actually sabotaging yourself at the moment for that easy life because you're going through so much at home."
Mm.
And so, hey, Christy, how are you? I'm not really seeing you pop on for a while. Hope you're doing well. Let's get going. So let's go. What do you know about this is, and what would you want to start the ladies off talking about?
So for me, I am going to tell you a bit of my story because I think it's
Mm.
it's the complete opposite to what we were kind of aiming for tonight. But
Yeah.
I was really, really, really lucky. Although there was still there was still things in the beginning when I started my transformation that, my partner probably didn't entirely understand. And it was just because it was new and it was different. And I was doing all these different things that,
Mm-hmm.
like he never actually sat back and went, "What are you doing?" But
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably thought it at times, like, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
But I've been really lucky. He's been so, so supportive.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a very important part in, how quickly my journey kind of unfolded, because I wasn't just surrounded by a whole community of women that were supporting me. I was supported at home as well.
Yeah.
And he just let me take the lead with, cooking food and doing these things. I said, like, I need you to really help me out with the kids so I can have a bit of extra time to myself. And
Mm-hmm.
he was really on board with all that. Like, he was always like, just do what you need to do because I know that you feel better when you do it. Even still now, when I can't get to the gym, he'll say, just leave the kids with me and go because I know it makes you feel better. So I'm really
Yeah.
lucky in that sense. But I could also understand how frustrating it would be. I have had people outside of my direct family not be as supportive,
Yeah.
and it's really disheartening, when you go to someone's house or you go out for dinner and people say, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but you're on a diet, you shouldn't be eating that." And it makes you
Yeah.
question yourself and you think, "Why
Yeah.
why are you looking at me like that?"
Yeah.
I can still
It's
have the
just
food
the
I
diet.
love.
I always do this is because people always think that because they've done it, they've failed, perhaps, and then they just think that that's going to happen to you. So, and it's this the diet, but this is what we're trying to get across to everyone. It's the lifestyle changes, and yeah, go and have that bloody pizza if you want. But anyway, that's me off on that tangent. But yeah, so how did you overcome that with someone, or did you not with Drew, your partner, but with the family member or friends?
In the beginning, it was quite hard, and I probably did pull back from the things that I was doing slightly, not a lot, but slightly. It wasn't a great deal of negativity, but it was enough to make me feel a bit disheartened with what I
Yeah.
was doing and made me question, well, is this just another one of those crazy things that I'm doing that I'm not going to stick to?
Mm.
And then I started to doubt myself then of, are
Yeah.
people going to look at me in a couple of months' time when this doesn't work and think, oh, see, here we go again. She
Yeah.
started something, lost a bit of weight, and now she's back to square one.
Mhm.
And I think that created a lot of self-doubt in myself,
Yeah.
and that was probably the hardest thing to overcome, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. It creates that self-doubt, and then it's because it basically feels like you're on an uphill battle as well. But then you might find that you're starting to hide what you're doing just to get
Mm,
healthier, just to lose weight. Because, like I say, it's not normal. I'd done this on our huddles the other week and we were all laughing, but it made sense. It was like, let's create the hashtag. Was that the one where you were there? Is but we are
no, I
normal.
don't think
No, it was so funny. But basically, you are classed as being abnormal because if you want to go to the gym and lose weight and better yourself, it's classed as being more normal these days to be overweight and stuck, sadly. Okay, and I don't mean any disrespect about by saying that, but it is more normal to have all these health conditions and stay stuck these days. So you're abnormal when
so.
you
Yeah,
want to
people
do it.
don't question when
Yeah.
you
Mm,
I know for me, no one questioned my eating habits when I
yeah.
was at my worst, and,
Yeah.
I was eating
Exactly.
really, really, really
Mhm,
terrible, and I was overweight and I was depressed. No one ever questioned me about that, but the
mhm.
minute that you decide to start doing something good for yourself, that's when
Yeah.
people go, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?"
It doesn't make sense. It's like the
Mm,
obesity crisis is absolutely crazy and it's causing so much other chronic conditions. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it is like, well, I'm a little bit. It's like they're perpetually trying to keep you in the cycle of having you chronically ill, giving you the medication. So anyway, that's for one of these conspiracy theorist ones. But yeah, it is an uphill battle. So I created the hashtag. What was it? We are normal or something. I can't remember, but it
yeah.
was funny. Yeah, we are the normal ones. But yeah. So have we got any tips for the ladies as well about this one? Because I've got some things written down here that would maybe explain things, because just remember, when you have decided to do this, it's you have decided, not your partner, not the people around you. So it's you that's changing. They are just knowing you as how you were. So in effect, they're having to change as well. So if they're
Mm,
not ready to change, or if they're not ready to even allow this change from their perspective, this is where you're going to get the pushback from them,
mm,
because they don't like the change, whereas it's your life to change, it's your decision, but they don't like it. So this is where a lot of the pushback comes from, because they realize that they're stuck, overweight, can't do it. So like, oh, who do you think you are doing it? But I like you the way you are now. You fit
mm.
perfectly into how I see you. That's their vision of you. They're like, no, don't change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think when you're in a relationship too, I think,
Mm.
one person's eating habits and mental state does definitely rub onto the other person. So then when you start to go,
Mm.
okay, I want to change and I want to be better, it's very,
Yeah.
we all are ready at different
Mhm.
times. This is
Yeah.
why some
Mhm.
people find themselves when they're younger, some people find
Mhm.
themselves when they're older. We're all ready
Mhm.
at different times to make a change. So when
Yeah.
you're in a partnership, it's hard because the
Mhm.
other person might not be ready to see it's
Mhm.
time to make a good change,
Yeah.
but you are. And that's a really confronting thing. I would imagine, you
Mhm.
know, if I put myself in, my partner's shoes, I would be
Yeah.
like, well, you're getting fit and healthy and you feel really good and I feel like
Mm.
crap.
Yeah.
You're you're leaving me behind.
Yeah, it's showing and shining the light on what they are not doing as well. And it's like, because they maybe be not lazy, but because they're not ready to change.
Yeah.
Or it's like they've got the fear of what's going to happen when you change. What happens if, like for me, I really hated myself when I was overweight, and I fully believed, I didn't like how I looked, and even being overweight, I thought I was ugly and things. So losing the weight created that increase in self-love. So it kind of gave me this sort of inner beauty which came out. So maybe the partner would think, oh, what's going to happen if that happens to her or him? Are they going to leave me? Are they suddenly going to get lots of attention from other people as well? There was a lady in the academy, obviously I'm not going to mention her again for privacy. She told me that her partner was actually sabotaging her, in the way of, he was making her meals, but because he didn't want her to change, he actually kept her overweight by putting in butter, oils, very fattening food,
Wow.
and serving it to her. So that's abuse, guys. That is actually abuse. And this is what happened to one of the ladies that I talked to a while back. So I couldn't believe it. And I was like, you need to get this stopped now. But that just shows you how far some people will actually go to sabotage you because they don't want you to change. But so that
Mm,
form of behaviour is disgusting. I do want to point that out, and it is abuse. So hopefully no one's partner is going to go that far. But that shows you how far it can go. People
mm.
fattening you up basically because they don't want you to change. Mm.
Yeah, wow, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously not like a super, super common thing, but I guess the
No.
sabotaging side of things
Yeah.
is, I guess that's probably very common as well, just in different
Yeah.
degrees of,
Yeah.
well, do you have to go to the gym today? Why can't
Mm.
we just take out?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about cooking. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
think those unintentional
Mm.
sabotaging conversations do come
Mhm.
up.
Yeah.
I still have those with myself sometimes.
Yeah. And then you've also got to think about it as well. This is the lifestyle we all lead now. It's the yo-yo diet culture, the shiny object syndrome. You'll do something and then you're like, what's next? Or you'll lose the weight. You'll stop doing that because you've maybe hit your goal of 30 pounds and you're like, okay, I can stop now. So then you maybe go and put it all back on. The point I'm
Mm,
getting at here is, though, guys, that you could be a chronic dieter, that you're always on a diet. I'm just going to do this. So you're always doing something. So even that, in a sense, can be quite tiring for a partner if you've been failing at it all this time. So they might have
mm,
supported you in the beginning, but then after a while it becomes, oh, you're doing this again, and
mm.
it's Yeah, and especially if you were doing it wrong before, not eating enough food or over exercising, you may have been a little bit cranky and not nice to live with. So
Yeah,
this is my fear of this is how you need to find the program that's going to change your lifestyle, that's going to give you a good life. Yeah,
yeah.
hopefully that'll
That
resonate with some of you guys.
that in turn then benefits your family, your kids, your
Yes.
partner, and the people around you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's also a good one. And it's also another one is you might just not be giving your partner time enough to adjust. So it's like you're just saying, okay, I've made up my mind, we're going to do this. But you're just saying, okay, you just have to put up with it. But your partner's like, oh, hey, because you're changing how they're living as well. So this is going to
Mm,
be a point because I've actually got about 4 points that I can cover to try and help you combat this too. But if you're changing it without the discussion and not giving them the options, then they'll have a little bit of kickback saying, hey, this affects me too, because it is a partnership. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think when people talk about diets, like you said, the other
Mm-hmm.
person probably thinking, but I don't need to diet. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
diet. So that, like you said, it creates that bit of a kickback as well of, are
Yeah.
you trying to tell me something without actually telling me something?
Yeah. I know, but then the fear, what happened to me in say my past relationship was though, guys, that I decided to do this and I went on such a journey and I grew myself, but my partner, they didn't sabotage me, but they weren't ready to do this alongside me. So I grew as a person and changed that much that it did affect our relationship. So we no longer were suited for each other and it eventually did break down that relationship. So this is why I think some people do get scared about things because you do go off on a journey and self-discovery and, confident building.
Can
Mm.
I question that as well? When you say that you then worked out that yous weren't suited for each other, do you ever
Yeah.
think that maybe yous were never suited in the beginning, but you just hadn't found yourself yet?
True, but I'll also counter that though, because I was really happy in the beginning and everything was fine. But then obviously when I started to change, not change in like a totally different person, but I grew from like being maybe in a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and I started to see the world in a different way.
Mm,
So no, I do believe that everything was good to begin with, but then obviously as I grew, it's just we were going off in different directions. So we're no longer aligned at all.
yeah,
um, yeah, and just they weren't wanting to change, and I couldn't force them. So that
yeah,
yeah, that's ultimately amicable breakdown.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so but how it's good that Drew, your partner. It'd be good to hear from you, ladies, or guys. I keep saying ladies that's watching this to know. I mean, how is your partner reacting? Because I popped something up there from Stacey saying in the past her husband had never understood, but now he's actually doing the program with her. So how awesome is that? I mean, doing this together and you're able to grow together
Mm.
into, yeah, it's amazing where you can actually go from this.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
think a really good point to make as well is, there were times where, obviously my partner did, not question, but there was a bit of confusion with why I was doing certain things. And I think having that open
Mm-hmm.
communication
Yeah.
and, you know, I guess somewhat having those tough conversations of
Yeah.
why it was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was important, to remind him that I wasn't just doing this for myself. I was doing this to be a better partner and be a better
Yeah.
mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that something needed to change because the way that I was unhappy, which then created that ripple effect of my family wasn't happy.
Exactly.
And, having those tough conversations, it's hard. It's hard to sit down with your partner and tell them why
Yeah.
you want to change and open up. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really, really important
Mm-hmm.
early on as well when they are a
Yeah.
bit confused with why all of a sudden do you want to change? What's changed?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to do this? What has something happened? And I
Yes.
think explaining to them, what's created that motivation to change and, go on a journey with yourself.
It's so
Yeah,
good
that
what you're saying. It's about the old cliche of it's not you, it's me. But literally,
mm,
that is it. It's they'll be thinking, oh, what have I done? Or, have
yeah,
I maybe made this change? But no, it's me and not you kind of thing. So I do have one that was one of the points I was going to cover here because obviously everyone's journey is different and maybe how their partner's not supporting them and what you'd maybe do around that would be different. You might find that you do things in secret or have separate meals to the family because the family's maybe not knowing how to support you, or yeah, you just sort of maybe go and look at your phone and learn about all this stuff in secret and try and do it alone. So everyone's journey is different there, but it ultimately comes to the same conclusion that it's holding you back. But I've got four things here. Now, the first one isn't too nice, but it's going to help you a little bit. And it's basically ditch the victim mentality because you might not realize it that us, ourselves might be sabotaging ourselves a little bit. And we're looking for external ways to express this, though we're not saying it's us because that's just the easier way to do it because it's too hard. So it's like, oh, my partner, yeah. So yeah, my partner's always saying I can't go to the gym, or my partner's always blah blah blah. So you fill in your own blank there, but really change it up. Always is quite an ultimate statement. So that's one, that it just shows. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought there, but basically you put this onto yourself. So it's not always it's you yourself is, oh yeah, it's me that's maybe always doing that, but you're blaming your partner. So what do you feel about that one? Is because you said me
yeah.
there.
I very early on, I had a very, very strong victim mindset,
Mm,
and I never realized it until I really started to dive a bit deeper in the mindset side of things. But a
yeah.
lot of my insecurities were I thought that my
Mm,
partner was having an issue with me going to the gym and
yeah.
spending time with myself, and he never
Mm-hmm.
had a problem with it. But in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, but I can't leave you with the kids. I don't wanna burden you, and, I don't wanna put more stress on
Mm-hmm.
you when you get home from work." And like you said, it was me, it
Yeah.
wasn't him, it was literally me being like,
Yeah.
I want
Mm-hmm.
an escape from I want an excuse, an external excuse
Yes.
to
Mm-hmm.
not do this, because that's easier
Mm-hmm.
to explain to other people and myself. Well, I didn't go to the gym because
Yeah,
I
my
couldn't
partner. Yeah. Yeah, or rather than, oh, I didn't want to go, so I'm just going to blame somebody
I
else
didn't go
for.
to the gym because I didn't want to go to the gym. It's
Mhm.
easier to blame someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is always it. So the victim mentality, we all do it. We're probably both guilty of it as well, and everyone out there, we're more likely to say it's someone else because we don't want that negative self-talk. It's a lot easier to do. So it's the victim mentality, and it's always like, oh, why me? Or it's this, the kids are always doing this, so I can't now go and do that. And it's about blaming other people. Whereas look internally for that change and think, who is actually stopping you from doing this at this moment in
Mm,
time? And if it's you, then you need to change that up. So
yeah.
that was one thing I did need to hit on because it's always not the partner in that
Mm,
case. Mm.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one being is really important. You kind of touched on that as well, actually, and it's a little bit maybe two and threes mixed together here. Is share your why, like you said to June. It's like they don't know. They're not mind readers. Your partner, you'll sit there and you'll maybe start seething because they don't know something that you are wanting them to know. But have you actually said it out of your mouth? Have you told them? Because as good as we are, we're not mind readers, no matter what we do. So share
Yeah.
your why. Why do you want to be happier for the kids? Do you want to be around living longer for the grandkids? Do you want to reduce the risk of heart disease because it runs in your family? Or you really hate your tummy because you've been so affected by it through like maybe weight loss or birth? What is your why? Why do you want to do this? So tell
Yeah.
your why it's important to you.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I think also too, remembering back to my why, it was because I
mm-hmm,
was so unconfident within myself. I wanted to feel more confident within my skin and within my clothing,
mm-hmm.
that, I felt really unattractive to my partner.
Yeah.
I felt really awkward. I felt disgusting. And explaining to him as well that I wanted to feel better within myself so that it didn't
Yeah.
affect our relationship at the end of the day, because
Mhm.
my confidence and my own self-image really did play a big part in, you
Mhm.
know, a bit of those breakdowns there as well.
Yeah, so I think that's also important. As is the next one that I've got here, guys, just for time. I've got map out your journey, because a lot of the time, even you might not know. So this is going to be helpful for you, but it'll also be helpful for your partner, just knowing exactly, like I said in the beginning, he's like, oh, you've done this before, yo-yo diets, and well, that's not going to work. But if you've got a vision for yourself, and you bring your partner into that vision too, and they see it, they're more likely to support you and push you on, and I say egg
Mm,
you on more. So yeah, tell them exactly where you're envisaging going, because might actually be the thing that'll scare them too. Is like, well, why are you doing this? Are you trying to look more sexy? And what if you get more attention? What if you leave me? But then this is why you need to communicate, is so important. Bring them into your journey and tell them how much you love them, how much it means to you to get their support, and just tell them ways that they can support you, like making you some meals, or just going to the gym, or going for a walk, or just little words of affirmation and support. Tell them how they can support you, because I'd imagine Drew really does support you with this.
he does. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm very lucky.
yeah.
Very lucky. He's always, there's times where I'm like, oh, we'll just get takeaway. And he's like, do you really want? No, I don't actually. No, I don't.
Yeah, I'm like that as well. So my partner's like that too. It's always like, I'm like, oh, I can't be. I'm even me sabotaging myself. It's like, I'm sort of, I can't be bothered going to the gym, and they're like, come on. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like
Fine.
pick up the ass, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. So it's good when your partner just gives you that, like, come on now, or it's time to get to your, like a child, but it's time to get to your bed
That's
now. Put
being
that
human,
phone
isn't it?
away.
We're all human. We all have those moments where we don't
Yeah.
feel motivated, where we don't feel like doing these things. But that's why it's important to have people around you that do support you,
Yeah.
because when you feel like that, they're that friendly
Yeah.
reminder. Go.
But just
You do it.
remember, we've got that inner child. We've all got that inner child in us, guys. And that inner child sometimes needs to be given the finger and told, like, come on now, you need to, like, you need to be, like, berated a little bit. And you'll find
Yeah.
that you'll actually do it when it comes from somebody that you love.
Mm.
Yeah. Even if it's like, I was like, oh, for God's sake, oh. So it's like,
Fine.
but I'm like,
You want to get home.
I'm like, oh, God. Yeah. So it's like that inner child, but it's having someone there to be able to push you. But communication, honestly, and mapping out your journey, and even if that changes, that's fine, but it's giving them the plan of what you want to do. So the
Mm.
next one I've got is actually, it's a good one, but it's a hard one to implement and really do. It's enforcing your boundaries.
Mm.
Boundaries are so important, especially for the people pleasers out there, the ones who are like, oh, come to this event and it's like filled with food and alcohol, and you're like, I really don't have time for that, and I really don't want to go, but I'll go anyway. So you're always saying yes to things. Or even with your partner, like, set the boundaries. You're like, no, I do need to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I do need to do this for my mental health and my mindset. So it's about setting the boundaries there firmly,
Mm.
but nicely. So then they'll know boundaries are so important in any relationship anyway, never mind a weight loss journey. Do you
Yeah,
have
I
any?
think, boundaries is definitely a
Mhm,
big one.
mhm.
I can't stress how important setting boundaries with
Yeah,
yourself is. I think that's where it starts, is setting boundaries with yourself,
yeah,
understanding what you want
yeah,
and where you want to be and what goals you
mhm,
have, and setting those
yeah,
boundaries with yourself of not allowing, you know, as much as you can try not to allow
mhm,
people to, like you said, sabotage and
mhm,
come in and, kind of just shake the boat a little bit there, I
mhm.
guess. I think it
Yeah.
definitely starts with yourself, set boundaries
Mhm,
with you, and then set
mhm.
boundaries with others. But it's so much easier said than done.
It is,
Um,
and especially if they're maybe saying stuff or making backhanded jokes is another one that I don't like. Being just, you can sit them down in the communication side of things there, but just tell them it's like, what you're saying to me is not conducive to my
Mm,
journey. Like if you're telling me, oh, you're taking it too far now, you're a bit thin, or they're just making jokes about things. That was just an example. It could be for anything. But
mm,
communication and just telling people what they're doing is not conducive to your journey and how it makes you feel. If you say, I'm sorry, but how you're speaking to me right now is making me feel like I'm not worthy, what I'm doing is wrong, like you're not supporting me. And then they might realize, oh, okay. And then they will change up how, or hopefully they'll change up
mhm,
how they're wording things, especially because I know a few of the ladies in the academy have done this. They've
mm.
actually said to their parents or a loved one, and it has made them think about things.
Yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
compromise in those situations as well, if your partner is a little bit off board, making a compromise of, I
Yes,
do need to go to the gym 3 times this week.
good one.
These are the days I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, on those other days that I'm not going to the gym, you can book something in that you need to get done or you want to
Yeah.
get done, and we
Mm-hmm.
can work with each other. So I think compromise there as well, instead of just being like, this is my journey, this is how it's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen, this is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing, you don't have a say. That
Yeah.
creates that, that friction there as well, so compromise
Yeah.
with your partner on, these are the things that are important to me, what's important
Mm-hmm.
to you, and
Mm-hmm.
let's work our week out there.
I love that because what I've done is come together, like with my partner, we made goals together. So we've got our separate goals, and then we've got our goals together that we kind of do, and then we make sure that we're both heard in the relationship as well. So that's really, really good. But what also your partner might be scared about is you changing that much that you're going to go off on your own journey and you're going to forget about them. So making sure that you spend time with them. So
Mm,
or having saying, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, but we will have, say, this date night together every week. So it's not just about letting them do things on their own, because sometimes they might
yeah,
not want to. It's making it known that I'm here, I still love you, we're still going to have our date night or whatever it is that you want to do together. Yeah, I think that's really important as well.
yeah. Understanding, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's not just my journey, it's our journey, and we'll do it together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, it's communication, but still putting your
Yeah.
foot down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't let
Communication is
anyone
key.
put you off. Yeah. It's like being standing firm and you know your values, you know what you want to do, and it's your life. So you have to keep pushing to do it for you because no
Mm,
one else is going to either do it for you. But if you don't, if you go and do what they want you to do, you're doing yourself a disservice. They're
yeah.
not going to care. Yeah, you don't want to be controlled by anyone.
I mean, and your life can completely change, can't it?
Mhm.
Um, breaking free from, that you put yourself into kind of like a box, I guess, where you said, like a victim mindset. And if you're
Yeah,
being held back by people, and the moment that you realize that you do have a choice and
yeah,
you can do this and you can do
mm,
it peacefully with your partner, hopefully,
yeah,
if your partner's not on board, then that's also a time where you need to sit back and reassess, okay, well, you haven't been on board for quite some time, and you need to sit down and you need to have that open
yeah.
conversation of moving forward. How do
Mhm.
we how do we make this work? Because it's not fitting in for either of us.
Exactly. You have to just reevaluate your relationship almost. It's not saying end
Mm,
it, absolutely not, but just telling them, look how maybe unhappy you are and look, we are going in separate directions. What do we want to do about this? And it's about the
mm.
communication side again.
How
But
do
it's
we
also
do this together?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
how we do this together. So, guys, it'd be really, really good because if some of you have been commenting there just to let us know how, like, your experience is, it would be good to hear what you've been through or if your partners didn't support you and they now support you because they've seen the really positive change in you. Or sometimes, like in my situation, it could have went the opposite way. You've changed that much and there was just nothing that could be done. But I
Mm.
still wouldn't change that for the world. I'm really happy with where I'm going and I'm still growing to this day, every single day. So it's amazing. So yeah, keep doing it for you guys. Honestly, if your partner loves you, your partner will support you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Even
like I
if
say,
the
that
beginning,
goes for the guys group too.
even if the
Yeah.
beginning of it is tough, it does get easier as well, you know. It's not
Yes.
always going to be tough. And yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't go the opposite way.
No.
Hopefully
No.
open communication works, but in
Mm-hmm.
some cases it's not going to. But you know, you just have to then really set down, like you said, boundaries with yourself and with other people, and make sure that you continue to make the best choices for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think I said it wasn't, can't remember where I've said this because I say so much. So your self-belief and your self-worth is like a muscle, basically. It was studied and it's been shown that the more you work on this, it grows like a muscle.
Mm,
It grows and grows and grows and gets stronger. I found that really interesting, that study. And it's true. So even just a little bit over time that you might not think that's doing anything, but over time, it's like your muscle, it's breaking little tears in that and it's building. So yeah, just
mm,
keep chipping at it, and you'll soon
yeah.
start to see. So Claire is saying putting herself first is her biggest challenge. But Claire, I've seen such an amazing change in you, honestly, from when you first came on board to how quiet and timid you were to look at you now. Awesome. Keep going, Claire. I'm really proud of you. Pop that up there just for everyone to see. But yeah, so really, really proud of how far you've come. And Claire's even allowed me to share her photos online of her progress, so I'll need to get that done. So that's one, I know that's one of the hardest
And keep
things
an
for
eye out
me
because
to
they're
do.
unbelievable.
Yes, and just to sort of like go off topic here though, but Claire, you're eating a lot more food than you came to me basically starving, and I've upped your food, and your body's looking banging, if I'd say so
I was
myself.
just
But there
about
you
to
go.
say, bang. See, we're both thinking the same
We're
thing.
both thinking banging, so this must like the new with banging. Yeah, but so just keep going. You're in the right direction. You might go through hurdles. You might think, oh, is this worth it? Because you will come to that point that things are going to get a little bit tough. But yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we all believe in you.
I think this was a good one to touch on. Yeah.
Definitely. It could have been something that we've delved deeper into, but I would just wanted you to know, guys, that you know, sometimes if your partner doesn't support you, there is things that you can do, but sometimes it is yourself first that you need to look at about that victim mentality too, just to make sure that it's not yourself that is sabotaging you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This was a
So
good one. I like this. Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love it. So we will be back next week, guys. Have a good weekend. So back. Oh, wonder what we'll talk about next week is. I wonder if you ladies will maybe message us with a topic that you want us
Maybe
to.
we should switch things up a little bit and surprise everyone.
Is that your way of saying you haven't got a clue what we're talking about?
No.
No. I kind of want to go a little bit. Ooh, you're really talking about that? It's yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe something a bit. You have to watch and
I
see.
mean, no topics
No,
off limits, is it?
no topics off limits. Absolutely not. We're here to be able to help you empower yourself, move on. So no topic is off limits. It could be anything, guys. So yeah. Apart from
All right.
poop. Not really well. We can maybe talk about poop.
Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about
Yeah.
it. No,
Poop's
thank you.
important. You need to be doing one every single day.
Oh, fine. That's all we need to worry about.
Yeah.
Not normal, go
Oh,
see your doctor.
you know what? We should do one that gets you blushing. I like to be like, oh, shocker. Let's get Ez blushing.
Oh, not much makes me blush.
All
Although
right.
I don't know,
Oh,
pretty glowing at the moment.
I know. I was waiting to say, what were you up to before we came on? That's what I said.
No,
No.
not at all.
Right. All right, guys. Right, we're away. So remember, if you're watching this later, it's hashtag replay just to let us know that you have watched it because we do appreciate it, and it also helps bump it up back to the top of the group so the other women can see it. So, Women on a Mission, we're coming back next week to see you. So let's get you guys all feeling good for Valentine's Day. Oh, actually, that would maybe be a good one. No, it's the next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, how to feel sexy on Valentine's Day for yourself, not for your partner.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
That's
there's
a good
maybe a
one,
good one.
actually.
All right, okay. Ta-da! Right, all right, guys, we're away to go. Have a good night, guys, in over in that side of the world, and have a good day, who's over in my side of the world. So we all.